You ever wonder, what if you could just hit rewind on a moment in history? But this time, you get to change the rules. Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're taking the legendary 1962 baseball season, plugging it into a simulation, and creating a whole new parallel universe for America's pastime. So here's the game plan. First, we'll unpack the little universe in a box that makes all this possible. Then we'll get into the new rules of this reality. After that, it's straight into the action. The wild results of the very first season, a whole decade of new dynasties rising and falling, and finally, we'll zoom out and ask, what does it all really mean?
Okay, so how in the world do you build a new reality from a bunch of old statistics? Well, you start right here, with a universe that fits inside a box.
Just think about it for a second. The 62 season, it's like this fixed photograph in our minds, right? But what if it wasn't? What if it was a sandbox you could jump into? The players are all there. Mantle, Mays, Koufax, their skills, their stats, they're all the same. But the world they're playing in? Oh, that is about to get completely flipped on its head.
And the engine for our little time machine here is a game called Strat-O-Matic. It's this incredible tabletop simulation that basically takes all the real-world stats from 1962 for every single player and distills them onto a set of cards. Then, with just a roll of the dice, it turns all that raw data back into the chaos, the drama, and the nail-biting action of a real baseball game.
Now, this isn't just a straight-up replay of the season. No. We're introducing a completely new league structure. You could almost say we're rewriting the laws of physics for the entire sport.
Okay, so here's how it works. It's pretty simple, actually. First, you take all 20 teams from back then and split them into 3 divisions, kind of like a pyramid. Premier at the top, then second, then third. Second, the seasons are super short, just 35 games. This puts everything in a pressure cooker. But the third rule is the real game changer. It's called promotion and relegation.
And it's exactly what it sounds like. You finish in the top 2 of your division, congrats, you move up a level. But if you finish in the bottom 2, you get knocked down, sent packing to the division below. In this universe, there are no untouchables, no dynasties that last forever just because they're famous. You have to earn your spot at the top every single season.
All right, the rules are set, the dice are ready to roll, the simulation is on. Let's see what kind of chaos unfolds in the very first season of this brand new reality. And boom, just like that, season 1 is in the books, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are your first ever champions. But look, the system already has its claws out. Check out the bottom of that table. The Baltimore Orioles and the brand new Houston Colt 45s are the first 2 teams to face the music. They're relegated.
Now, I really want you to let that sink in. In our world, the team that won it all in 62 is the New York Yankees. Here, history has already split. The Dodgers are on top of the world, and the mighty Yankees didn't even win their division. Things are different already.
And while the teams were battling it out, the players were putting up some monster numbers. So first up, 19. That was the home run total for our league leader.
And how about this batting average? .385. I mean, that is just absolutely scorching. So who were these titans of the alternate 62 season? Well, the home run crown with 19 dingers goes to none other than the say-hey kid, Willie Mays. And that jaw-dropping .385 batting average, that belongs to Stan the Man Musial. It just goes to show you, even when you change the universe, the legends, they're still going to be legends. So that was just year 1. A taste of what's to come. But the real magic happens when you let this thing run, when you see how these new rules completely reshape the sport over time. So let's fast forward. Let's watch a whole decade of what-ifs unfold.
Jump to 1964, and the league is already in beautiful, beautiful chaos. After climbing their way out of the second division, a team does the unthinkable. The Chicago Cubs are the champions.
Can you just imagine that? For any long-suffering Cubs fan, this is pure fantasy. There's no 108-year curse, no Billy Goat, just a championship parade in 1964. It's amazing how one little rule change can rewrite the entire emotional history of a city. But, as one team rises, another is about to take a spectacular fall.
Let's hop forward 2 more years to 1966.
Cleveland takes the top spot. Great for them. But that's not the real story here. I want you to look all the way down at the bottom of the table, to that last line. Yes, you're reading that right. With an abysmal 10-25 record, the New York Yankees are relegated.
I mean, this is the earthquake. The moment the simulation breaks your brain. The mighty Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, the very symbol of dynasty and dominance in all of sports, are sent down. They're no longer in the top tier. It's proof that in this world, nobody, and I mean nobody, is safe.
By the time we get to 1969, the entire landscape is just unrecognizable. The Baltimore Orioles have clawed their way to the top and are the premier division champs. You'll notice the Yankees, after their total humiliation, have fought their way back, winning the second division to get promoted again. But take a look at who's missing from all this glory.
You know, in our timeline, 1969 is all about the Miracle Mets, one of the greatest underdog stories ever told. But in this reality, there is no miracle. In fact, after getting relegated early on, they're still stuck in the third division. They're literally in the basement of the league, fighting to get out. So after all that, what's the point? Is this just a fun little game? Well, yeah, but it's also more than that. When you zoom out from the individual seasons, this alternate history actually tells us something really powerful about how the world works.
This whole experiment really boils down to a few big ideas. First, it shows us that data isn't just a spreadsheet of numbers, it's the DNA of a story. All those stats were just pure potential waiting to be unleashed. Second, it proves that a few simple rules can create incredibly complex, totally unpredictable results. Just one little tweak, promotion and relegation, was enough to bring down the Yankees. It just reveals that history was never a single straight road. It was always a massive web of hidden possibilities. And that leads to the biggest takeaway. Play isn't just a silly pastime. It's one of the most powerful tools we have to understand complex systems and to truly explore that amazing question, what if? And that kind of leaves us with one final big question for you. We just replayed one baseball season, but what if you had this power? What moment in history would you choose? A battle, an election, the stock market? Heck, even a moment in your own life. What rules would you change? The possibilities? They're literally endless.